guys, so as you are probably aware, I mentioned last week that I was participating in the Ludum Dare game jam with my brother Alex.
Hi.
And in case you don't know what Ludum Dare is, it's a game jam where you have to make a game in 2 or 3 days based around a certain theme. And the theme this time around was running out of power. So, okay, let's start from the beginning.
The evening the theme was announced, I came up with the idea of doing a puzzle game where you're a robot that has a certain amount of charge, amount of tiles you can move, and you have to get to a finish. And I was going to make that game alone, and Josh was going to make another game.
Yeah, I had an idea for a game where you're like a robot or something, escaping from a facility and you're being chased, and there's all going to be this high action kind of runner, kind of like an infinite runner, but it was going to have an end. But the more I was looking into that idea, trying to see if it would actually work the following morning, there were just too many factors, things that I wasn't comfortable with doing in this short of a time span. So I thought of a couple other ideas. One was kind of a top-down driving game. That one I quickly realized was even worse about that. And then I decided to ask Alex if he actually wanted help on his idea. So from there, we just started doing a quick prototype. He threw together some basic graphics. I threw together some basic code.
So I started by looking at the graphics in similar puzzle games, and then tried mimicking similar style, making basic tiles and player character, while Josh started programming the basic tile-based world and movement and everything working there.
Now, on my side at this point, I threw together some basic programmer graphics just so I had something to work with while he was making the real deal. So once I had my temporary graphics, I threw together a basic world render system. One thing I haven't mentioned in this video is that throughout this game jam, we were actually making use of a game engine that I've actually been working on over the past week or so. Well, technically with some code that I made a while ago, but newly assembled into this new system. I'm calling it the Frost engine. It's a basic HTML5 game engine that's meant to be super lightweight. So far it's working out pretty well. I do need to do some optimization stuff. But anyway, this obviously affected how I handled the code, but actually I set it up in a clean enough way that it was actually very easy to implement all this stuff. I'm most experienced with ActionScript and Flash related things, so I coded it to mimic that so that I would be quick in prototyping and making all these things that I needed to do. So back to what I was doing in there. Once I had basic world render, I started to get the basic player in, and then I added movement and depth sorting and all that stuff. I added a finish tile, a basic wall, which we didn't actually end up using, but we did something similar with the doors. We'll get to that later though. But now, at this point, Alex was working on, what was it?
Well, in the first day, I basically just got the few basic tiles done, and the first version of the player character, which had tracks on the sides and a face.
Yeah, and like a little display on top.
Yeah. It didn't end up looking that great, so the next day we ended up scrapping that for a new design that had lights on the side and a power symbol on top.
Now, also this second day, what I was doing at the beginning of the day was I started to get the conveyor belts, and well, they weren't conveyor belts at the time. They were just simple push arrows or something, because I didn't have actual graphics. Actually, I don't think he even made conveyor belts at that point. So they were just prototype graphics, so I could, well, yeah, you get that. But I started programming their logic, got them pushing the player around. Once I had that, I started working on the chargers, so I made a basic block that when you walk over it, it gives you a certain amount of charge. Also, I think at some point slightly before that, I had got the basic text around the game, so I got saying the time, your current charge, and the level number.
So the second day, I got the charger, conveyor belts, and the button and door graphics.
I think you also got a basic finish at some point around.
Yeah, the finish as well. So I got them to at least what I thought was mostly complete state, but I ended up tweaking some things on the third day. And
Well, also, on the second day, in the afternoon, I looked around on Newgrounds trying to find a good song to use in the background as music in the game. Now, I looked for... I don't think I spent an hour on that, but I was having a little difficulty trying to find something that was just right, had the right license and all that so I could actually use it. So I decided to scrap that idea and try to make my own thing and see how quickly I could do that. So I threw together the start of something that's very similar to what actually ended up in the game. It was a little more moody, but I ended up tweaking that on the third day. But on the second day, I got it to a decent point in the afternoon, and then later at night I actually went in, polished it up again. Also around the time I was doing some more coding, I implemented his buttons and doors, got his actual conveyor belt graphics in, as well as all the other graphics he had made this day. So I think that about covers it for day 2. No, day 3. Alright, so throughout this time I had been working on the various levels in the game. Now, working on these levels actually was one of the most time-consuming things I had to do, because in making these levels I have to make something that's fun, engaging, and a little challenging, but also I don't have very much time to make them. And initially we were going to be doing 16 levels, but it was cut down to 12 pretty quickly once we realized how long it was going to take. So, day 3, there was a lot of stuff left, because this was the last day we had to make everything work and just add everything that we needed in the game. Some features got cut. We were going to have kind of more of a transition screen between levels. It wasn't going to go right to the level select, but we decided to scrap that idea because it was good enough. I've seen plenty of games that weren't made in Game Jam that just take you right to the level select, so that was fine. A lot of stuff happened this day. Beginning of day 3, on my part, I basically spent a lot of the morning working on the song, getting that finished. That carried over a little bit throughout a few hours around working on some other levels, getting some other graphics implemented, just various different things. And then I also was working on the sound effects, which that took a little while. Funny thing about the sound effects, I don't even know if you know, maybe I mentioned it, the motor sounds for the robot is actually 2 different electric toothbrush sounds. So I don't know. One is kind of the passive movement sound that's also in the conveyor belt movement, and then another one is the actual motor. So it was the only sound that I could find that actually worked. So that's interesting.
So what I got done on the third day is I got all the block graphics done. I changed the player to a dark version. And
that way it had more contrast between the tiles and the actual player, so that players would know what the player is.
Yeah.
That's the player, wait.
So, yeah, then I started working on the interface graphics, getting icons and figuring out what the level select buttons and other buttons needed to look like. Got all those done, and then basically just the logo and a few other design things, figuring out like what the screen layouts needed to be with where the icons go and all that.
Now it was getting pretty down to the wire towards the end of the day. Like, it was just before supper where I had to just rush and get the actual saving of the player's best times and get that showing up on the level select screen. Start to get Alex's user interface graphics actually implemented, his buttons, his icons, everything. I had to just rush to get everything in, make them work, get them all hooked up. It was kind of crazy. Okay, no, it was really crazy trying to get everything in time. Now, after supper, as it got in later in the day, getting closer and closer to the deadline, having it done, I still had to make like one other level, and that one was a bit problematic. That was level 12. It was a pain in the butt to make because it kept breaking. As in, I had my intended solution, but there ended up being another solution that just totally broke the puzzle. So I had to go in and try to rework it to make it actually function properly. Also, I had to get like the Level Studios icon down in the corner on the front, on the main menu. Just everything basically. There was pretty much no real, well, there wasn't any of the actual user interface in until the evening of the third day. Up until then, it had just been my placeholder graphics that I had done. So I had to just get everything in. I don't know if there were any bugs to really fix with any of the other blocks. I did have to get your updated graphics in for some of them, like you changed how the doors looked, so a little better. Also getting a new player and a few other things, but as it got down to the very last few minutes, it all kind of fell into place, got working, and then it was time to submit the game. So it was all done. It was definitely a little bit smaller than we intended, but then again, it's actually, I'd say, our most polished Ludum Dare entry we have ever submitted. So
Definitely not the most rushed.
yeah, even though this was a mad rush, there's been a lot worse ones, like the Treasure Tomb and all of that. So yeah, this time around, it was definitely an interesting round because it was kind of a milestone in various ways. Like what I was saying about it being our most polished Ludum Dare entry ever. Also, it's our first real puzzle game that we've released. We've made like tests and ideas for games, kind of concepts, but we've never actually released a puzzle game before, so that was interesting. Also, it's the first game that we've released that from the very beginning is a full game. The closest thing I've done was the Hamburger Man, and that was, I mean, it was a game at the beginning, but it wasn't like polished or anything. Now, over like a year or so, I did some updates to it to make it into a full game, but this is taking it to a whole new level. So overall, as far as the reception of the game, we've gotten a little bit of harsh reviews, but for the most part, it seems like the people that find it seem to really like it, think it's innovative and got interesting puzzles and fits the theme exactly. So I think we did a pretty good job in making this. If you want to check out the game, we've actually got links down in the description. Also, I just, like, day before yesterday, I believe, right? Yeah, no.
A
couple days ago, I released a time-lapse video of my side of development. Alex is going to be releasing one later today, maybe around the same time as this video uploads, so his link should be down in the description. So yeah, if you want to go watch those, you can get a better idea of what we were talking about. So, and if you participated in this Ludum Dare game jam, first of all, congratulations. I hope you finished your game. I suppose I should have said that. But anyway, and also, if you want to help us out, give our game a rating, the link's down there as well. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. And I think that's going to be it. But yeah, if you can, leave a like and maybe a comment. And definitely subscribe for more content from me in the near future. This guy might show up a bit more as we start to work more together on these things. Yeah, we'll see you around. Goodbye.